Boom, welcome to the Sebs Show, everybody. It's your boy Sebs and your co-host Gib. And today we're breaking down UFC Charlotte, Jacare versus Brunson 2. A lot of people are sleeping on this fight. I think this fight's going to be pretty good, man. I think, I think this is a lot of people this is a card that not a lot stuck out to me. You guys know I like to play 7-8 plays on each card. Only got 4 this weekend. So not a lot stuck out to me, but I'm very confident with my 4. Happy to break it down as usual with my boy Gib, and we'll actually be doing a fight companion for this, starting at Fight Pass prelims for the Nico Price fight, or not the Nico Price fight. We're starting with the Austin Arnett versus Sandhagen fight, which is the first fight on the docket for tonight, but we'll be watching it from then to hopefully we're going to get into the main card or whatnot. But we'll be doing a fight companion for that event. And the aforementioned Corey Sandhagen and Austin Arnett Gib is the first fight on the docket. I'm liking Corey Sandhagen in this fight. I took him for 3.08, I think, or 07. I took him 3.07 units. Sandhagen minus 205 to win 1.5. Now, I thought this was a good spot for Austin Arnett to begin. I was watching his fight with Brandon Davis. He is a dog, man. He doesn't quit. He's got some nice combos as well. And he comes from Sick Jitsu, good gym in Spokane, Washington, with the likes of Michael Chiesa and whatnot. I think in this matchup, it's going to be on the feet, and if it does go to the ground, I give the edge to Corey Sandhagen. It looks like he's the one who wrestles more and has a bigger grappling advantage on the floor. But like I'm saying, I think this fight stays standing or goes wherever Corey really wants it to. Corey dictates a pretty good pace in his fights. And from what I saw, man, his Muay Thai is just scary. Seamless, very, very seamless combinations. Just flowing he's super crisp, man. Something about this kid's his 1-2 and then his leg kicks. His leg kicks are deadly. Watch over them, and he's kind of like Justin Gaethje, the way if he knows you don't like the first one, he's going to target you with fucking 7 or 8 more.
He puts a lot of muscle into those kicks, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, he throws a lot into them. Something he likes to do. And like I'm saying, he's just got some calm Muay Thai, he's crisp in the pocket, and he's got some good grappling skills, man. I think he's a better striker out of him and Arnett. I think Arnett hesitates a little bit too much and gets struck on the way he comes in. He's a karate practitioner, so when he pounces in, his distance management isn't quite there yet, I would say. Other than that, he's Arnett looked good too, man. I saw a couple of his fights, even his fight that was on Fight Pass, his Titan fight. He's all right and everything, but he gets hit a lot for my liking, and I think Sandhagen's just a better striker. I think Arnett's going to have a tough time with him, in the pocket and at range as well. And I think something that's going to give him problems is, for the karate practitioners, is they need to move in and out a lot of movement and out of range and distance, and use their movement to to nullify anybody's attacks coming forward. Fucking couldn't breathe there for a second. What the fuck happened? Yeah, but to nullify their attacks coming forward, and then pretty much I think the way he Corey Sandhagen, or not just Corey Sandhagen, but the way anybody will utilize leg kicks against karate practitioners, it slows them down, and it'll slowly take a beating on them, and they'll not be able to move in and out as much. So I think Corey Sandhagen has a striking advantage here. I really like him in this fight. I think he gets the job done over 3 rounds here. I'm in a 30-27 decision to win. I got 3.08 units on him to win Did I say 1.5 units or something at minus 205? Yeah. So at minus 205 to win 1.5 units, 3.07 units, and I'm pretty confident in him. How about you, Gib?
Well, obviously we've talked about Austin Arnett on the show before. His great Brandon Davis fight. He's literally hanging off him for the guillotine. So I think Arnett does know quite a bit on how to kind of set up jiu-jitsu, but maybe not early and maybe not in a big brawl or rush. And Corey Sandhagen definitely brings a good kickboxing background into that. A lot of unpredictable spinning kicks. He fires off of will. Fires at will. Lots of elbows, knees, feints. And he has a decent jiu-jitsu game as well. Tough pressure and style. He's not shy of switching stances, which is always pretty good, especially if guys get caught up in his pace. Because if he's switching stances, then they'll just never get it, and they're trapped. But I think Austin Arnett has a very rough and a very in the pocket, lots of aggression type style, and because of that, I think he hits guys who are actually a little bit better standing than him, or hell, even guys who swing themselves. He does tend to change speeds a lot, which leaves him open for that 1 second where he's off and in the other person's rhythm. But I think that he brings a nice overhand right. He's pretty good on the feet. He has pretty good composure overall. And I think he works good under pressure. So if Corey Sandhagen is a little too trigger happy, I think Austin Arnett will actually be able to make him cancel that out. So I'm actually taking Austin Arnett in this one.
Okay, so a little disagreeing on the curtain opener, but it's what we bring you here for. I personally think another advantage is Sandhagen fought a week ago at LFA 31, so we already know he's in fighting shape 100%. He got a quick knockout over Jose Guayo a minute into the fight, didn't really do anything, so he's more than in fighting shape, and he got that call to the UFC, and I think he does well with it. So I'll be pulling for my boy Corey Sandhagen here, 100%. 3.07 units. Let's get it, Sandhagen. He's actually my biggest play of the card. So yeah. He's actually my most. I'd be most confident, or no, he's my second biggest play.
Oh.
Yeah, he's my second biggest player, but I'm very confident in him. Next up is Nico Price versus George Sullivan, and man, Nico Price is. A lot of people are shitting on this guy's skills. He's got some good box. He's got some decent. Who Nico Price?
Who's this? Who's shitting on his skills?
Oh,
I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, bare people on Twitter like shitting on his skills, man. Like saying like he's not fundamentally all there, which he's not. He throws a lot of wild shit. But the guy,
George Sullivan.
Yeah, exactly. And then the way he works his jab and stuff, I think, is really well. And he's decent in the clinch, and he packs a lot. Man, the guy fucking hits hard. Knocked out Joban, who's obviously has the strongest chins of anybody, but he knocked out Joban, submitted Brandon Thatch, another not all there, but then when he knocked out Alex Morono too on the comeback, it shows his durability and like all that, because he was taking a beating at one point. He was getting picked up apart, and he came back and he won. And then against George Sullivan here, like he's not. I'm not saying Nico is going to be like a top 10 guy anytime soon, maybe not even a top 15, but he's going to be better than George Sullivan, who's coming off a USADA layoff. Two USADA layoffs exactly. So the problem here with George Sullivan too is like we saw in the Alexander Yakula fight, like this guy doesn't bring it, man. And he's not like if you're making Alexander Yakovlev look like fucking, I don't even know, like a K1 national champion or some shit, like you're gonna be in trouble with Nico Price, that's for sure. I don't think George Sullivan has what it takes to beat Nico Price. He's gonna have to drag him into deep waters, and I don't see that happening. I see Nico finishing this when he wants, and him putting a beating on George Sullivan. So I got Nico. I put 2.5 units on Nico at minus 217. And then before the lines jumped up, I thought I could get it. Like I don't even know why I thought like the lines would come down at all, but I should have maxed it at that. But I got greedy and I didn't listen. So 2.5 units, Nico Price at minus 217. Didn't get greedy. I kind of just like fucked up and didn't play the line.
Mm.
And then 1.5 at minus 247 to win 1.75 units. So I probably could have got, four units to win 2 units or something close to that. But this is not bad at all. 4 units to win 1.75. Nico's my most confident pick of the night. I think he just blasts through George Sullivan. How about you, Gib?
Yeah, I mean, I think to downplay Nico Price is a little dumb because, I mean, he's come from American Top Team. He definitely gets lots of good sparring in with a lot of those guys.
I don't think he trains at the main American Top. I think he trains at Cape Coral, but
this kid's got 6 KOs in a row for a reason.
Yeah.
He puts a lot of power behind his hands. He does tend to take the front leg kicks really badly. If you watch the Vincent Luke fight, I mean, he takes a lot of them.
Luke, is
it Luca?
Luke.
Yeah, he takes a lot of big leg kicks, and it was bright red.
And he pieced him up in that fight too. Vicente's going to be a top 10 at one point, I believe. He's a very, very favorable, not a favorable matchup for a lot of guys at 170 pounds. He's dangerous, Vicente Luque.
For sure. I mean, I completely agree with what you said about George Sullivan. He really, really desperately needs guys to bring him into the late rounds and play in the mud with him and get sloppy, because that seems to really be the only time where he looks good. He seems to have the exact same combination no matter what fight he's in. He has a jab, a cross, and a left leg kick. Whatever the front leg kick is. That's the one he's kicking with, and that's about it. He pops around. He has a lot of weird style changes. Like at one point he's kind of low, then he's a little high. He likes to do the back step a lot and counter, but the problem is he does it so often in that first round that he eventually tires himself out, and by the second, third, the guy's just kind of jumping around but using a lot more energy just to do nothing, and doesn't really follow up on feints or anything like that. He had a pretty good fight with Waters.
That was on a week notice too.
Yeah.
Dominic Waters came in on a week notice.
Well, Dominic Waters was a little bit more decorated than him, at least.
Yeah.
And before that, he wasn't on a 3-fight losing streak. I think he had maybe 2 or 3 previous, but other than that, he was on a 4-fight winning streak or something. And going into that fight, you could tell his style looked like he had no problem, like he was ready to kill. But once George Sullivan started to implement his game plan and get him, super sloppy up against the fence, it just didn't look good for Waters. But what actually makes me take Nico Price in this fight is the fact that George Sullivan has 0 submissions and had Dominic Waters in mount, he was going for an Americana, and then he tried to go for a Kimura. Pretty much had it, but just didn't know how to seal the deal. And this guy, I mean, you just can't do that. Having, being 36, being the experienced guy, this isn't good. I mean, I don't know if those suspensions played a big role, but I mean, you can't rely on decisions and knockouts. You have to have some sort of, submission game or something. Yeah, I mean, it's non-existent. maybe a little bit of wrestling and mount. That's it. I got Nico Price. It's pretty glaring in this. Again, if he loses, it'll be because he let George Sullivan get away with way too much.
Yeah, I believe so as well, but I don't think so. I think he knocks him out.
Oh yeah,
rather quickly here. But moving on to our next fight, we got Vince from Hell Pichel versus Joaquim Silva. Joaquim Neto BJJ Silva. And Neto BJJ is fucking. He's fierce, man. He gets you into these dog fights when he fights you. He has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, but he doesn't quite use it. He's just like always firing, just really good footwork and everything. Good stand-up fighter. Tends to eat a lot of shots when he's coming in, though. That's something I have a problem with, and a lot of the times it seems like he'll be like a quick starter, and then he'll stop for like a minute or two and like try and pace himself or something. He won't do anything, and then he'll hit, then he'll go again. So I don't know. I don't like that either. And he's got a good get-up game, but he does have trouble with wrestlers. If you saw him against Reza took him down at will.
With Medad, yeah.
Yeah, and
what did you think about that split, by the way? Would you give that to Medadi, or did you think that it was a bit?
Well, I'm biased as fuck because because I took Neto I bet Neto BJJ in that spot. Yeah, so like I remember betting him. So
I think if Sullivan, if Silva didn't stop and do that kind of pause, I think he would have possibly had that a little bit better, like a majority decision, you know?
Yeah. For sure something, but I think Neto here is like this is a hard fight to choose, man. Just both guys come from this relentless background of like just stand up for days and like ready to give it all they got in war. But Vince Pichel has a little bit more of this relentless like takedown and pressure kind of style where he's gonna grind you out, as we saw against Andrew Kawani. Like he'll take you down fucking 10 times if he needs to. And very strong throughout all 3 rounds, keeps his pace. Took a long layoff and then he knocks out Damian Brown, but he was getting touched up in that Damian Brown fight to the point where Damian Brown just made a stupid mistake of Vince Pichel's back being up to the cage already, and Damian Brown still charging forward with literally nothing to charge forward on, and gets countered and clipped there. So he loses that fight, and then so I don't know. This is a tough fight. I'm gonna side with Joaquim Silva here. I think Neto's got the better striking, and I think he'll win this in the decision, 29-28. Another ugly split decision. How about you, Gib?
Well, Vince from Hell Pichel, he definitely holds a lot of power in that hand, and with 8 KOs off of his last 10 fights, it's pretty impressive. It's very difficult to stop this guy, and like you said, Damian Brown really did have that round kind of locked up. He just took that one last punch, and he was in the wrong place, wrong time in the first round, right? He does tend to get decisions when he got to the UFC, and he got knocked out. So the change was definitely it was definitely different from, because obviously in his before the UFC, the guy's just running through people. So I actually think Joaquim Silva could put him through the ropes, and being a veteran, being a younger guy coming in, 0 loss on the record, few first round stoppages, and he's proven to already thrive in the UFC against guys who are already veterans or have been there before. Andrew Holbrook, and I think that he takes out Vince Pichel as well. But I do think that Vince does always have that chance of that big swing and dropping him. And I think that if anyone drops anyone, it'll be Vince Pichel.
Oh, you think so, eh?
Yeah, yeah, but I do see Silva winning in either like a decision or maybe even like subs him out. But it's still going to be super close. Like you said, the guy just doesn't really use his jiu-jitsu as much as he should, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Even he's got some decent offensive wrestling, just not the most defensive grappling, other than his get-up game. But
Yeah,
his jiu-jitsu is like on par, man, with a lot of guys, and especially in that division. And he just doesn't want to use it for some reason. I don't know.
yeah,
It's like Justin Gaethje not wanting to use his
yeah.
D1 wrestling. You
We're
know?
talking about that.
Yeah.
I noticed that guys who possess a bit of knockout power tend to get submissions by knocking their opponents down and then just picking up an easy like rear naked or something like that. But I mean, this guy's knocking these guys out, so they're cold. Like you can't even get the submission on them. So he's obviously ending guys before he can even get to that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure he has it, but it just hasn't, I guess, come to the surface in any of his fights yet. We'll have to see.
And we'll have to see this Saturday how it plays out. Next we have Justine Kish facing Jiyeon Kim. This fight's going to be at flyweight. Jiyeon Kim coming down from 135. Justine going up from 115. Gib, how do you see this playing out?
I think Jiyeon Kim has probably one of the best names with Fire Fist. Awesome. I think she should be really marketable, but her last fight didn't really go so well. She proved to have a bit of problems coming into Lucia Padilova, and she got dummied in that fight. Like it wasn't close. She couldn't win rounds. Her previous fights in the TFC and Deep and Road and whatever other organizations kind of had her fighting randoms, a lot of people who had losing records or people who might not have exactly been a close experience rate to her. So a little off, but with Justine Krish, she's actually fought a lot of tough fighters. And she had a tough time with Felice Herring being out wrestled, but she got a few good overhooks, and she knows how to turn the tides when she gets her opportunity. She shakes off damage like it's nothing. Like she just kind of walks in, bang bang, takes 2 shots, and then swings right back. If Kim actually does have those fire fists, then I mean, these punches should be there for her all day. But I just don't think she has a lot of the toughness and power or even stopping power to keep people from pursuing her and just using toughness and beating her. Because it did seem like in her last fight, Ji Kim could land punches, but she just wasn't tough enough to take a veteran storming her and putting pressure and just staying in front of her. She outworked herself, and she does a lot of extra stuff. But Justine Krish, very calm in there. And before that, she was already winning her UFC fights. She's a bit of a decision, but I actually think she gets her first knockout in this fight.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time breaking this down. Fucking Jiyeon Kim didn't look that good in the Lucy Padovia fight, man, and not sure how she's gonna look here with a full training camp. I expect it to look better, obviously, but not sure exactly how she'll look against Justine Kish here. And Justine Kish, kind of like fucking, they didn't do. I was gonna say shit the bed, but that wouldn't be appropriate. Yeah, because she actually shit her pants. But
oh yeah, I heard about that.
yeah, that was kind of funny, but whatever.
You gotta go, and I mean, there's a lot of pressure in being in certain situations, especially if you're if you're being wrestled by Felice Herring and she's like body locking you and fuck, man, it's just gonna build up a lot of pressure in the stomach and it's gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't want to embarrass her more than that.
You know what? It's not the worst one. Have you seen the big fat dude?
No.
Oh, there's a big fat dude who ends up soiling himself. That was a pretty bad one. I don't think anything will be worse than that because it was like everywhere in the ring, and I'm pretty sure the ref was like, "Dude, don't."
That's horrible. That's fucking terrible. Why are we talking about this right now? Okay, but yeah, pretty much I think Justin Kish gets the job done here. With takedowns and using that striking that she's got some vicious striking when she wants to go, man. And I think, but her being the smaller opponent here, I'm not sure if it gives her trouble. It's complete pass for me. Not playing this fight at all. No interest in it at all. So complete pass for me. Next up we have. Sorry, guys.
Random Markos.
Yeah, Random Markos versus Julia Lima. And Julia Lima, Jutai, strong clinch, man. Strong Muay Thai clinch. Good knees in there. Works. And when she's on the ground, she does some work. If she's in the offensive position, she's got some crisp like kickboxing. Slash Muay Thai and
never go toe to toe with JJ Aldridge.
Yeah, and showed up for that fight, and I don't know. I like her in this fight, guys, against Randall Markos. I think Randall Markos gasses a little bit, and she's not the most technical on her feet. She's not the best boxer, not even that good of a wrestler, I think. So I'm not sure what she has. This is another pass for me, guys, but I got Juliana Lima here. What you get?
I'd like to go with Ronda Markos. I mean, I like Juliana Lima a lot more, but I think Ronda Markos, she didn't do very well against Alexa Grasso. A little bit of a weird fight. She seemed to kind of have trouble finding a pace after the win over Carla Esparza, and that was even a split. So I think maybe she's putting a little bit more time into this camp and she's ready to go. Fellow Canadian, she's actually come in a little bit younger than her as well. So I think that she uses that and can possibly pressure Lima, maybe a little bit. Lima is super good on the stand-up. Again, she goes around to JJ Aldridge and she shows up to play. And I think like Ronda Markos possibly could use a bit of a wrestling and possibly put her on the floor. But I mean, the problem is she lacks real big punches or big kicks or any sort of weapon to keep people away throughout the fight, because people just aren't very scared pursuing her. They just don't have that fear. She can tend to get some pretty sneaky submissions early on in her career. But I mean, she needs one now, so I think she gets it, and she even pulls off a upset, if anything.
Yeah, I could see that. I can see the upset happening. Either way, I'm not sold on. Who did you say an upset for though?
It would be an upset for Lima to lose, correct?
Yeah, because she's
over Brandon Markos, yeah. Especially if.
Well, she's the underdog, but this should be a closer fight than the odds suggest. I wouldn't. This should be a pick'em.
I think it's a better fight of like who's coming off the worst loss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, Tisha Torres' submission wasn't that good, but at the same time, a split decision is just a little bit better. You know what I mean?
I'm just going with Juliana Lima just because, like, I just think she's a better fighter, man. And come Saturday night, the way she strikes, compared to Randa Markos and her footwork and everything, it's going to be like just the way her counters are and everything. It's just so much cleaner than Randa Markos. Randa Markos isn't as clean on the feet. Pretty boring to watch. A lot of wasted movement on the feet. Not that like she doesn't even have that high of a fight IQ. I think she's not that good, man. So I'm going with Juliana Lima here, and I think she gets the job done. Next up, we got Caitlin Chookagian versus Mara Romero Borella, and I got Caitlin Chookagian here. Let me see what I got. 3.04 units on her. Chookagian minus 152 to win 2 units. Pretty fucking confident in Chookagian. I think she's one of the best point fighters in the division. Up there with Holly Holm. Might be better than Holly Holm in terms of point fighting, not in anything else, but in terms of point fighting, might be better. That's the main thing. She comes from that Mark Henry gym, and I don't know if I think she trains at Henzo's, and I'm pretty sure she's a brown belt now under Henzo. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure she trains at Henzo's though.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's been doing like her only losses to this. Yeah, she trains at Henzo's, and she got her brown belt recently. Then, and so she's good on the floor as well. Only lost being to Liz Carmouche, where she just got like manhandled, kind of, but woman handled, and then it was like I just don't know how she will lose this fight. Other than Mara Romero Borella is going to be shooting for takedowns nonstop. She doesn't throw a lot. Like Borella went with what was that fight? Melania Dudieva went with her to split decision. That's not somebody you want to go to split decision with. That girl offers nothing. And then she took down and submitted Khalil Jafaria, and we saw like how good Khalil Jafaria is losing to Jessica I.
Yeah. So, Khalil Jafaria, I think, approached that fight in the first round a little wrong, because once she got underhooked, like those were so easy for Borella to get. You know what I mean? Like you could teach somebody in a week, and they would be able to get that on Caitlin, on just the posture Faria had in that fight. You know what I mean? And from that, it was just game over. She couldn't. And
she's just way smaller than Borella as well. I don't know, but I'm going with Chookagian here to outpoint her on the feet. I think she last year. Does what she needs to do, gets to a 30-27 decision. I don't think Borella offers anything on the feet for her. I think Chookagian's way better of a striker. And she might be the better grappler when he hits the floor. She is a brown belt under Henzo. So I got to stop talking shit. I hope she's a brown belt, bro. I'm going to go check right now. But what do you think? While I'm checking this, what do you think?
Well, she doesn't exactly have the submission game to back it up. She only really has one, but she wins decisions. She can win decisions. She has super good striking. I absolutely agree. It's definitely up there, and she lands clean when she takes her time, slows the pace down. She likes to keep distance. For the most part, she has pretty good reflexes, even for kick checking. And sometimes she can be rushed into making a few rash decisions. Like Liz Carmouche, I think she got beaten up pretty bad, but she just out wrestled. You know what I mean? Like she just would not stop wrestling her around and kind of ruining her striking pressure. She has a pretty good body lock though, so I'm sure she does have a good jiu-jitsu game, because when she gets that on, like it doesn't look comfortable, and she definitely can frustrate. She's definitely frustrating a lot of fighters. Just being able to outgrind a lot of people who can't like impose their game plan. Again, Mara Romero, I already said, I actually really do like the Kalinger Faria fight, just because how she played that off. I thought it was an awesome win for her, for her first time in, like just taking out a big name like that pretty quick. I think she does possess quite a bit of striking, but definitely not as much as Chookagian. And she doesn't seem as quick, at least off the 0 to 60. I don't know how quick she can be in the second or third round, but just from just from the go, I think Caitlin takes her almost every single time, and it'll take a while before that dies down enough for Romero to even start landing those shots. You know what I mean? So I think I agree. I think Chookagian takes it. I actually think she maybe breaks her decision streak and gets a knockout or something. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it would be nice, but
I think people play it very careful when they get to the pros, which is fine. I mean, Tyron Woodley's showing it can work.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, okay. That's what I needed to make sure. So she is a Hensel Gracie
brown
belt.
Okay.
She trains with like Frankie Edgar and all those guys down at Mark Henry's.
That's an awesome camp.
Yeah, she's at a good gym. And then she gets her jits at one of the most legit gyms in the world at Hensel Gracie. So you can't hate on this girl at all. I think she's a solid pick. And you know what? I think I'm going to might have to add another half a unit on her or something.
Yeah.
I'm liking her here. Might have to be a little bit disciplined though this week. I'm coming off, as you guys know, I need to address this too. I'm coming off like 6 straight losing events.
Oh no.
Yeah, and 2018 has been shit so far. We have had 3 losing events with Bellator and 2 UFC. So looking for a bounce back this week. Hopefully we get a bounce back this week, and well, we are gonna get a bounce back this weekend. We're gonna look for a sweep this week actually with the 4 picks only. So let's get it. We go for sweep every week, but this week I think the sweep's very possible to happen. But that being said, yeah, I think I just saw the line at Chookagian just got like better a little bit, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna add more as of yet. I think I like where I'm at with the 2.04 to win 2 units. Other than that, not much else I have to say about Chookagian here. I think we go to our next fight here: Mirsad Bektic versus Godofredo Pai, and Bektic was what was he, a minus like 800 fucking favorite last time. I think I took him in like a huge parlay, like a 12-play parlay or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the fight, like inside the distance or something.
Which fight?
Him versus Elkins.
Oh no.
And he
Did
was
you have Elkins though?
No, I took Bektic, and Bektic was beating the shit out of him.
He was.
For 2.5 rounds, beat the shit out of Elkins until Elkins lands his head kick and knocks out Bektic. The craziest shit you will ever see. And Bektic looked like an animal in that fight.
Yeah. God.
Coming into this fight, he has the better wrestling than Pepey. He's got the better striking. He's better everywhere. He's a better mixed martial artist, and he's got the more potential on more upside to him as well. I think this is an easy victory for him. I don't see where Godofredo can beat him at all, actually. But maybe with like a lucky guillotine or something. But Bektic, I see him just being the share of Godofredo for 3 rounds and getting a 30-27 decision here, maybe 30-26. I am passing though because the line is so big. It's like minus 550. So obviously I'm passing. I'm not going to play a line that big, but if you want to play him maybe inside distance, I don't know. That's a hard one. I think he wins by decision, to be honest. But yeah, that's a hard play. If you guys want to play, I wouldn't recommend parlaying them up or anything at minus 550. You never know what's gonna happen, and the guy did drop the ball last time against the Elkins at minus 800. So not sure, but I do like him in this fight. How about you?
Again, I agree. Mirsad Bektic absolutely was beating Darren Elkins from post to post, just absolutely just out wrestling, out striking, pretty much out everything. It was just Darren Elkins' experience and just his toughness that got him through that fight. And sure enough, third round. One of my favorite moments of that fight is I believe Darren Elkins' his back is on the fence and he slides out and gets Mirsad on the fence. As he gets Mirsad on the fence, he kind of drops to his right knee, and he slips a punch at the same time, gets back up, lands a punch. It was an awesome fight. It was an immediate favorite of mine. I think someone should take that fight and record over that put the audio of how bad you want it, and then just edit the clips around, because that is the perfect video to show of like
that, I never thought of that. That's
I love that. I was playing, I could play in the background and watch that fight and it would be the same thing. I think Godfredo Pepey does present a bit of problems for Mirsad Bektic because of this. And the reason I say that is his toughness is pretty high. I mean, I think we all seen the
he went 3 rounds with Shane Burgos.
The Castro fight with Shane Burgos. And Shane Burgos, I mean, that guy's a beast. He was throwing kicks. He was throwing absolute kitchen sinks at this kid, and he would not go down.
He dropped him like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, in multiple rounds. Yeah. And Godfredo was still throwing these crazy kicks, still pursuing a guy
the
who's
overhand right. He was throwing the overhand right a lot. Yeah.
I think the problem with that fight is Pepey got a little too spam heavy, and he started using too much of the same stuff, and Burgos was just able to kind of dissect them there. But I do think that if he uses those same skills on a day where maybe Mirsad misses something, maybe Mirsad kind of slows down his game, or maybe he gets too tired, like in the Elkins fight, and slips up again. But he really, really needs to bring this one home. This guy was 4 fights into his UFC contract, undefeated until Darren Elkins came around. So he needs to show that he can beat another veteran. It was a fluke. Like, he needs to show that this fight was nothing more than, you got me in the last round and that's it. So this is a big fight, and I think that Castro does have a bit of a chance in it. But I would probably take Bektic because he pretty much had, for the most part, Darren Elkins' card from the very first to the second, third round, just out wrestling and even doing pretty well in the stand-up.
Yeah. I don't know where the fuck Pepey would have a shot here, other than like if he stands with him, he might get a lucky knockout. But man, that's hard to stand in the pocket with Mirsad Bektic. The guy does a lot of work inside the pocket, and he's a really good wrestler, and he will grind you the fuck down against the cage, beat you up.
He has the knockouts to do it, I think.
Yeah, he definitely could. But like I said, for the price, I'm passing. But like I said, I don't blame anyone playing a prop on this, trying to get a better line. Next up, we got Bobby Green taking on Eric Koch. And man, Koch is one of those guys that like tends to like be on his bike for a little bit, and then he lulls you into this pace, and then like when you're fighting at his pace, he dictates the pace and he dictates the fight, and he does very well doing that. And then he's got some great jiu-jitsu as well. He's got some scary ground and pound. The guy's nasty wherever the fight goes, to be honest. He's very well trained, trains him to Rufus Sport and everything. He's got he's a little bit chin. He's been knocked out a few times from what I believe, or at least a Darren Cruikshank knockout. And then his last fight against Guida got completely murked. And the fact that, sorry, I'm trying to remember if he got knocked out before by Dustin Poirier, did he? I think that went on 3 rounds. Oh yeah, he got dropped in that fight. Bad. He got dropped bad.
But he got dropped.
Yeah, he got dropped bad in that fight. But yeah, going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember early on he got dropped. But yeah, going on. I see, what the fuck is happening? It's all lagging and shit here. Okay.
You got it?
Yeah. Yeah, and his last fight against Guida got murked in the wrestling department and whatnot. Bobby Green's not going to come out to wrestle. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a stand-up war. Again, this is another potential. Could be a great fight. Bobby King Green's always a very fun fighter, but we saw him at one of his best. Had one of his best fights last year against Lando Venata, and Lando and him got a draw, and it's only a draw because Lando got a 10-8 in that first round with the point taken away. If he didn't get that point taken away, it would have been a win for Lando there. But
that's why Bobby Green was so happy when we got the time.
No kidding. I believe so as well, and he was going to get cut from the UFC, or he might they're just seeing who's going to get cut at this point. Koch, I'm not sure if they would cut him yet. The kid's
probably not. He's too young.
Yeah, he's like 29 or some shit like that. But Bobby Green is no spring chicken anymore. He's like 30, 31, 32 or some shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's his record in the last like 4? Okay, his last 4, he's 0-3-1. Yeah.
He's struggling.
Yeah, but he's fought Edson, Dustin Poirier, Rashid Magomedov, Lando Venata. Okay. And then his last win was Josh Thompson in 2014, where he got that split decision. And some people say Josh Thompson won that fight. So we go before that even. And like, when was his last year? Pat Healy. And then the last time he knocked somebody out was James Krause. So like, this is a while back when Bobby Green was in form, as you would say. This is another one, man, and a tough fight to call. I don't know which side to choose, but I'm gonna side with Eric Koch. I think he does enough on the feet to get the job done. And I think over the 3 rounds, he irritates Bobby Green, and like he lulls him into that Eric Koch kind of fighting style, that kind of pace, and he just wins this fight like that, man. How about you?
Bobby Green has when he was first on the scene, he had the right aggression that you needed in a style. I think he showed a way to use it that actually worked for him. He switched stances a lot, and he could be very devastating with the hands, especially in the Venata fight. I felt that both of them really hit each other with their best there. A lot of big overhand rights by Green, a lot of good combos by Venata. But Venata was dropping him, and he dropped him at least 2 or 3 times in that fight.
Yeah, I think twice
for sure. And that round that he probably would have won, that would have been a 10-8 because of the 2 knockdowns. So, I think Bobby Green, obviously, after watching that fight, a lot of the glory days are a bit behind him. But I think that what we have left is still something. And when guys go toe-to-toe with him and they're not ready, he can drop some pretty big bombs on some people and back people right up against the fence quick. If his opponents don't disengage, it can be problems pretty quick. Again, he's submission is a little iffy, but he's very fast. He's very good at the fast scramble and defending some submissions. He's got some pretty good footwork. He can trip up his opponents a few times, like Jacob Volkman, and showing maybe he needs a little bit more submissions though in his arsenal. But at 31, it's hard to add him. Eric Koch, I really like the way he keeps his arms kind of wide out, even in a southpaw stance, because he ends up getting a lot of cool stuff for free. He gets a big left high kick, and his low kick keep people away pretty well. He's got a right hook counter that's awesome. Knocked out Rafael Sunzel in the first round, and that's when the Sunzel was on a killing spree, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was very quick to kind of retreat from Dustin Poirier's boxing. That seems to be his kind of his kryptonite. You know what I mean? He doesn't like boxing with guys who are really good with their hands. So I think that's why Bobby Green does have a bit of an edge in this one. But in terms of age, I think Koch does have it. I think it's going to be close, but I actually want Bobby Green to win one for a change. And I think the Lano Venata tie might have lit something under him. And again, I mean, this guy has arguably 4 losses in a row. So, he needs to put on a big show. And I think that maybe he uses that experience and possibly suns Eric Koch if he's not careful.
Yeah.
But he does have awesome submissions. And I think Eric could be really surprising when he gets those off.
Yeah, that's true, 100%.
Beautiful triangles.
Oh, yeah. He's got a nasty triangle for sure. Next up, though, we got Drew Dober taking on Frank the Crank Camacho. And Dober comes from that elevation fight team background, good Muay Thai, like with Sandhagen. He's got some good Muay Thai, good movement, power in his hands. He's dropped a lot of guys. His most recent fight was, I think, Joshua Berkman, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he knocked out Joshua Berkman. Before that, got choked out by OAM, and then before that, knocked out Jason Gonzalez. Went 3 rounds with Scott Holtzman. Dober's no slouch, but also Frank the Crank's no fucking slouch. And this fight being at 170 pounds, Frank the Crank doesn't have to cut to 155, albeit when it passes that 7.5 minute mark, Frank the Crank gets really fucking tired. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the style that he puts. He really forces people.
Yeah, 100%. But he gasses hard, man. He gasses super hard when he's around that 7.5 minute mark of the and for some reason my man doesn't use his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at all. He's a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from what I believe, and doesn't use it at all. I don't know, man, how this fight's gonna play out either. This is gonna be a slugfest, but Frank could land one on Dober and put him to sleep, and Dober could land one and Frank put him to sleep. But this can be a slugfest for 3 rounds. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I see, and that's what I see. I think I see this being a slugfest for 3 rounds, and I see Dober winning it, man. How about you?
Huh?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a slugfest, man. These guys aren't gonna put down. Might be fight of the night. And so hard to bet on this fight and pick this fight. You just got to pass and just enjoy here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with Dober. I'm passing, but picking Dober here to win. Yeah. How about you?
I think Dober, there's a lot of knockout power. And no lie, he can't, because last the Joshua Berkman fight I thought was really big. He got a knockout over Jason Gonzalez as well. Have you seen one of his Muay Thai fights, by the way?
No.
I checked out one of Drew
I know he's a world champion, amateur Muay Thai world champion. So I know.
Yeah, he knocks out guys quick, and there's no surprise why. But I think that Muay Thai style puts him in range of a lot of Frank stuff, because Frank really charges at you, and he doesn't care if you're big, small, whatever. This guy's going for you from the get-go. Even the way he rushed Jing Liang, and I think Jing Liang won that fight, obviously, but I think going up against that high level of an opponent as well gives him a lot of good experience, especially going that many rounds with him. When Drew Dober first started out in the UFC, it took him a while to kind of get the wheels rolling because he got 2 losses in a row at first, and had to wait to really beat Jamie Varner. And even then, it wasn't that great for him. It's only recently that he's kind of found a lot of success in his last KO, even though he did lose a fight against Oliver Mercer. So he does show a lot of variant, and I actually like Drew Dober in the fight, but I'm a fan of Frank's style. He meets you right in the first round, and if you can't figure him out quick, it can spell doom for you. If Drew drops a bomb on him, Frank will be in the exact spot that he needs to be. But if he keeps pushing and Drew doesn't hit him with that big bomb, then I'm sorry, the fight's not going to work well for Drew Dober here. So I actually think it's Frank's.
Yeah, it's definitely a pick-em kind of fight.
Oh yeah.
So at that point, I would say dog or pass, but I'm picking Drew Dober to win. But I think the value is on Frank Camacho here, guys.
Yes.
Next up, we got Gregor Gillespie, the Gift versus Jordan Rinaldi. And Gregor Gillespie, let me just tell you about Gregor Gillespie for a second. Wrestled in national championships against Jordan Burroughs. If you guys know who Jordan Burroughs is, very, 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 very credentialed wrestler. Top freestyle wrestler in his weight class of, I think Jordan Burroughs was 147 pounds, or not 147, 163 pounds. I'm pretty sure. I have to double check that. But yeah, now I want to check that. Well,
he's a big gold medalist champion.
Yeah.
He's coming off the 2017 Paris, buddy.
Oh yeah, he's
World Championships.
He's no joke. How big is he? Do you know?
And a gold medal at 2012 London. So that's crazy.
He's a gold medalist.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's short.
That was in his early days, and he's still been medaling.
Oh yeah,
gold.
He's one of the best freestyle wrestlers, and this guy wrestled against fucking Gregor Gillespie, bro. He took gold in the Olympics, gold in Pan Ams twice, in Toronto even. I remember that when the Pan Ams were in Toronto in 2015 too, and he won gold in there. 74 kilograms. That is, I don't know how much 74 kilograms is.
1.4.
Is that how much it is? No.
Isn't it? 74
kilograms. Sorry, guys, for everybody watching. They're like, the fuck? This is 74 kilograms.
Oh, no, it's 2.2.
It's 2. What do you mean?
2.2 pounds for each kilogram.
So how much is 74 kilograms? Like 150, 160 something. Yeah, 160 something. But yeah, pretty much what I'm saying is one doesn't fucking wrestle with Jordan Burroughs. I know my man Dan Levy always used to say that one does not simply wrestle with Jordan Burroughs in the finals. So Greg Gillespie is no joke. He's got quality wrestling. His striking has been ever improving every time now. Coming off of, I believe, what was a knockout. Does he have 2 in a row now? No, he got a choke on Jason Gonzalez, choked on Jason Gonzalez, and he oh my goodness, -260 you can get him for against Andrew Holbrook. That's amazing. And he knocked out Andrew Holbrook so quick. It was plus 120 against Gleico Franca. Like, Rev Gillespie is no joke.
No. He's one of those rare wrestling submission dudes who actually has like a big bomb in his hands, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And he, stand-up wise, man, like I was saying, his stand-up has been improving a lot. And against Jordan Rinaldi here, I think all he has to worry about is his jiu-jitsu. Ronaldo's got some slick jits. And if he overcomes that, I see him putting a pressure beating on him. This is another fight that's too high to play. It's I think he's minus 550 as well. So he's out of playable range for me. I don't play anything more than minus 300 usually. But yeah, he's out of parlay him either. But what I do like from him possibly is indecision. Not indecision, in the distance. I think that's you can get a good line on him for that. But I do think he's going to win a decision, to be honest. But inside the distance might be worth a little stab. I do like him here. Jordan Rinaldi, I don't think he offers much to Gregor Gillespie here other than his jiu-jitsu game. Um, it's not. I'm not saying like Rinaldi is like bad or anything. Like he did. He's coming off like a nasty submission of Alvaro Herrera or whatever. How do you say his name?
The like shoulder choke.
Yeah. And then he lost to Trujillo.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Abel Trujillo's pretty seasoned, and he wasn't going down easy.
Yeah, but he got knocked out by James Montosri. So, yeah, that's where you're just like, yeah, what the fuck. Other than that, I like I said, I'm Gregor Gillespie all day, but he's too high to play here. How about you, Gib?
I actually didn't mind Jordan Rinaldi in this fight because I thought his submission work is really well done because of the fact that he tends to be a little jumpy on the stand-up, but I feel like because of those bounces and because he likes to kind of throw his hands pretty quick, he tends to give his opponents a bit of a false sense of, oh, this guy's kind of deadly. And then all of a sudden he goes for those submissions, goes for those takedowns and starts using his jiu-jitsu. His stance is a little wide out, so he's always available to be hit. But again, against Abel Trujillo, he did not do very well because Abel is seasoned in jiu-jitsu and has been around in the UFC quite a while now. So he knows what he's kind of doing. He was able to deal with the submission pressure and pretty much stay back and counter whenever he came in, and it was more or less the exact way you have to fight him. Just sit on the outside, wait for him to screw up on the striking, counter, and then defend the takedowns. And seeing that Gregor Gillespie really is the gift. Can out wrestle a guy like that. And I think wrestling, having that big knockout power, tends to beat out the guy who's a bouncy, nice on the feet striker who does have jiu-jitsu, because the wrestling tends to be a lot to handle, and you can only jump around for so long. You can only be on your back for so long until you get too tired. And I think wrestling really does grind, and it shows, okay, like, what do you have next? Because if you're getting out wrestled and if you're getting tired, it's going to be long. It's going to be a long road just to get the round back after getting up after a minute and hoping that a bomb lands. So I actually am changing my my pick, and I think Greg Gillespie will win. I didn't really go into how extensively his wrestling partners were. That's really cool though. I think he takes it.
Yeah. For sure, man. Jordan Rinaldi is like no slouch, but seeing that, like, when you're wrestling with guys like Jordan Burroughs and stuff, and you're an all American. I don't even know how many times he's an All American. I should check that as well. But he being an All American, I love to bet on wrestlers usually. To you guys are gonna get pissed at me after, but I like to bet on like a good wrestler, like a Colby Covington,
Oh yeah.
like Kamaru Usman. Like if we're getting some good stats on him.
I think that's where the
There's some
UFC
good
is kind of
odds.
moving towards.
Yeah.
Especially now, I think people are going back to that wrestling, and it's starting to nullify a lot of guys who, you know, they advertise in the UFC. Like, they advertise a lot of striking and a lot of the big knockouts, but what they don't advertise, a lot of the good wrestlers and a lot of the good fights where you get brought into those late rounds and get dragged around. It might be a little boring, but man, it gets you the W.
Yeah, he's a 4-time All-American, Division I champion.
And to train with him every day, as well as before all these big gold medal matches that he's having, is ridiculous.
No, I'm saying Gregor Gillespie is a 4-time All-American.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's no joke.
Yeah. He probably could have medaled as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If
he went through that career, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But
for 4 years in MMA, already in the UFC, that's really good.
Yeah, I wish he leaned on his wrestling a little bit more and grinded guys out a little bit more that way. I think he's very, very powerful in the grappling exchanges, but I love when he stands up too, man. The guy's got some pop in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with Gregor Gillespie as well here. Next up, we hit the co-main event. We got Andre Fili, Fili versus Dennis the Menace Bermudez. Gib, I'll let you take this one.
I really like this fight, and I'm curious to see what your opinion on it. But I mean, Dennis the Menace been part of the UFC since 2011. That's crazy. And from his first loss, he was able to put a 7-fight win streak on. 2 of those people being Holloway and Clay Guida. So I mean, the guy's already been with tons of guys who are either holding the belt or fought for it, or, you know, the who's who. He's fought everybody at this point. Andre Fili, you know, he's coming off of 2 losses, but I mean, Bermudez's style is something that I think a lot of people should be copying from his wrestling. Again, what we talked about before. He's got a sparking jab. He uses it with a big swinging right hand or right hook or a big uppercut that he puts in, switches stances. If he misses punches, he's always ready to go right into takedowns, right into wrestling. And people get so scared of his striking that he gets a lot of these takedowns for free practically. It's only really guys who hit hard and have stopping power that he seems to have problems with. Guys like Jeremy Stevens and Chen Sung Jung getting knocked out in the first round. Any guy who has kind of that stopping power is a rough fight for him, and he tends to have a bit of difficulty. But I think Andre Fili could give him that, because I mean, he had a not so good fight with Calvin Kattar, who, I mean, we all know he spams those single kicks.
Yeah, but Calvin Kattar is no joke, as we saw. He just beat Shane Burgos.
Yeah, and I didn't think he'd win that fight. Yeah. I thought it was an interesting fight, but I didn't think he'd win. And Andre Fili went rounds with him, and he before getting kind of touched up, he was doing okay, but he just really couldn't implement his strategy right. He was saying on James Lynch that he wanted to actually take Bermudez down, if you watch that interview. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because I actually want to see him do it. And I think that if he does take Dennis Bermudez down, it might light that kind of fire under Dennis to go like, yo, did you just take me down, man? Like, that's what I do. And if that happens, I think that if he jumps into that striking range, Andre Fili has some of that stopping power that could that could be rough. He's got a great middle kick. He actually aims his kicks to the body, which is something that's kind of rare. It usually happens by accident. He's got a good short hooks. He's got kicks. He's got a lot of short stuff, which I think might help him out in like the wrestling range. I mean, obviously trains at an alpha male, so he's got a lot of great sparring partners and had the champ sparring for a while. Fili kind of lulls opponents into kind of familiar tactics, and then switching from wrestling. A lot of his takedowns are like tackles. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure if you saw the where he fought Connor's boy Artem Lobov, but I mean he looked like a linebacker, man, just blasting him on the floor.
Doubles.
Oh yeah. And now I think Dennis Bermudez will be a lot harder to get in those. But if Andre Fili is going for the takedowns and he gets a few, that could be, really detrimental to Dennis Bermudez's plan, because part of the reason he wins a lot of decisions is because of the wrestling. He gets those points and he holds on to them, and he has good enough striking that you're not going to get points for knocking him down, or you have to knock him out or have stopping power. So it is a good fight, and it's super close. But I just want to see Andre Fili win this. And it's funny actually seeing their fights are about practically the same. I mean, they both have Dennis has 16 fights, Andre has 17. Dennis has 7 losses, and Andre has 5. But I mean, Dennis lost in the UFC, and Andre didn't. So it's and Andre only lost 2. So it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Try not to copy what Gibb said, but like this fight, if it takes place on the feet, I don't know who I'd side to. Dennis has got a really cool style where he's always marching forward, and he's always reaching over with this overhand right hook. And then we got Touchy Fili, who Max always said is the hardest hitter he's ever faced. So, and then we know Bermudez has some issues with durability in his chin because he got knocked out by Chan Sung Jung, got fucking knocked out by Jeremy Stevens, got dropped by Matt Grice, Tommy Hayden, you name it, man. Fucking, he's been rocked around for a little bit, and this is another fight that, like, I can't trust who's going to win. I think Dennis Bermudez is going to do more of the action and win most of this fight. And then Touchy Fili might knock him out, I think, in the late 3rd round. And I think that's how it's going to go, man. I think Touchy Fili hits hard and he's going to knock him out. But I think Touchy Fili is going to lose a round or 2 and then knock him out. And that's how the cookie crumbles right there. Yeah, but no. I think that's the way it happens, or it goes down at least. It's a pass for me. I was leaning hard on Andre Fili too. I'm gonna pass though. I think there's a couple better plays. Well, there's not too many plays this week, but I don't know. I didn't. After watching tape and everything, I wasn't super amused by it. Something was just telling me to pass. My lord was telling me to pass or something. Yeah, something was telling me to pass. But
don't listen to the gut, man.
Yo.
Yeah, we're good. And what were you saying?
I don't know where I cut off.
I
don't
Are you done with? You're saying. I was saying go with your gut.
Oh yeah. You got to go with your gut, 100%.
Especially bets, man.
Yeah, 100%. You got to go with your gut, and
you make it and you stay and you never change it.
Yeah, that's why I'm passing completely from this fight because I don't know who's gonna win. But yeah. Next up, we got the main event of the evening: Jacare Souza versus Derek Brunson. And if you go back and you watch their first fight, it ended rather quickly. About how long I'm talking about it right now, a couple more seconds, and probably ends right about here. Boom. That's how long the fight lasted the first time, with Derek Brunson rushing in with his chin up in the air and getting knocked out by Jacare. That was a while ago. That was in Strikeforce, and a lot of people are like, "Aren't you worried about Derek Brunson, the way he rushes forward and is gonna and the chin of Jacare?" Man, I think Derek Brunson has a worse chin than Jacare. I don't know what you guys are saying. Brunson's been knocked out more than Jacare has been. I know that. I know that's for sure. Robert Whitaker knocked this fool out. I know that. Yeah, and fucking like Whitaker knocked out Jacare, but it didn't look half as bad in my opinion. I think Jacare looked like he was still willing to fight. If you watch that Whitaker fight with Brunson, he's running forward like a madman. He has no idea what he's doing. His fight against Machida is doing the same thing with his chin up in the air, running forward. That's just what he does, man. And Manu Natal is not going to be able to fix that. Who's the great Muay Thai instructor down in Atlanta? It's not going to be able to fix that. And I think once Jacare survives the initial blitz of Derek Brunson, he'll be able to take him down, work him, and get that submission. And I think that's what's going to happen in the second or third round. I think Jacare is going to overcome his blitzes, hit him with a couple shots, work that nasty body kick he has, and Jacare is going to press him up against the cage and take him down and tap him out. I like Jacare a lot in this fight. And I got 2.58 units on him at minus 129 to win 2 units. So I'm very confident in my boy Jacare. I think he gets the job done here, the alligator. But man, he's coming off, like I'm saying, he took the right amount of time off, I think, since the Robert Whitaker fight. So it was in April 15th or something. So it took a while ago.
Yeah, 7-8 months. It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Rest the chin up a little bit. And I think Derek Brunson's just like happy. He's running through all these guys, and I think he thinks he's gonna knock out Jacare the same way he knocked out Machida, and I just don't see that happening. So I got Jacare all day here. How about you, Gib?
Well, I agree with what you're saying about Derek Brunson, because I think Derek Brunson ignores a lot of like the rules of fighting when you first start. I mean, any boxing class, any sort of striking, it's chin down, all the basics. Bring the jab up to the up and shoulder to the chin so you can protect it while you're punching. And obviously, Derek Brunson has been able to cheat that just with his sheer size, strength, and just natural gifts that he already has. I don't necessarily think that he doesn't know about cutting his chin in. I understand it is high in the air, but this guy obviously gets away with it. I mean, it's so apparent.
And
You're right. Especially
get away with it in the Whitaker fight.
Yeah, especially in the 185 division, and I get it. And a guy like Jacare is going to exploit you, absolutely exploit you. And big guys, guys like Yoel Romero, and even early on in his even early on, like I think even Robert Whitaker and Anderson Silva gave him problems, and he should have knocked out Anderson Silva. I personally think if this guy's as big and as naturally gifted as I'm trying to make out, this guy should have absolutely ran through him. It should have been a 1-round fight, but obviously he super respected this guy, and I obviously think that you should. But I mean, if you do that to Jacare, you're getting knocked out. I mean, you're going. And I always enjoyed watching Jacare. From 2012 to 2015, this guy didn't lose a single fight and went 9-0. Going into the UFC, I'm pretty sure he had 5 wins, or 5 or 6, and he still didn't get a shot at the belt. Like he didn't get anything. Yeah. And when he did get a fight, it was against Yoel Romero and lost a split because it didn't seem like they wanted to give him a shot at the belt after beating.
And a lot of people think he won that fight. He definitely won the third, and he took down Yoel Romero. And he took him down. And Yoel Romero's an Olympic wrestler.
Yoel's a tough fight. Yoel's a very tough fight. Yeah,
but don't think if he took down Yoel Romero, he can definitely take down Derek Brunson.
Oh, for sure. And Yoel gave Derek Brunson a huge fight. You know what I mean? He never fought him up.
They never fought.
Yoel Romero and Brunson, he knocked him out.
Yoel Romero fought Brunson?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I on?
Yeah, a long time ago. 2014.
Huh.
Yeah, Yoel Romero, he knocked him out.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. Shit. So yeah, and you know, if that's somebody who goes to a split with Souza and a close split, I might add, you know, it's gonna be a bad day for Brunson if he doesn't end the night early. And you know, we already saw that when Brunson was put up against the cage against Volkan. Volkan hits hard. I'm sure he does. But that punch that he landed, it was a very average shot. You know, it didn't like he wasn't firing it from far away. It was kind of just a close little left hook, and Brunson was just super effective and drop back. So you can imagine what Souza will do to him, as well as his good submission work and as well as his patience and experience in the game. This guy could take him decision, submission. Obviously Derek Brunson can get that surprise knockout, but that's the only way I think he wins it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. And I think the later this fight goes, the more of a chance Jacare has to win.
Yeah, and if Jacare does win, I think he better get a direct shot at the belt, because it is an absolute humiliating to have this guy in the UFC for this long, no shots at the belt, and always like one step away from a #1 contender shot. Are you kidding me?
Well, they always gave him like that shot to get to the belt against Whitaker.
Yes.
Well, he never passed the test, but I think.
But what about the 5 before that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think he passes the test here, though.
I hope so.
Yeah. So that's all for UFC Charlotte, guys. Jacare versus Brunson 2. Hit the like button below here, right here, wherever it is, right here. Hit the like button, please. Comment and subscribe, and yeah,
check out our fight companion that we're gonna do on Saturday, guys.
Oh yeah,
it'll be the first one we're doing.
4 p.m. Eastern. Join us, man. Come join us. We're gonna be smoking dope and fucking watching fights. But yeah, till next time, everyone cash these motherfucking bets. Let's get it this weekend.
Let's go, guys.